There is a story about a beggar. A young man used to beg in front of the church in a very special way every weekend. So that is the time that we come to the church. So he used to beg like every weekend. One day he realized when a businessman passed in front of him and dropped few coins into the container that he was holding. So when the coin dropped into that bowl and the businessman passed to few feet away from him, and the businessman stopped and he said, there is something unique here. He came back, put few more coins, and he was listening to the sound that echoed out when he drops the little coins in that bowl. And he was listening. This businessman was very carefully listening and asked this beggar, from where do you get this? So beggar said the story, this is from my dad gave to me, and to my dad, my grandpa gave to him, and this is what we do it in our lives. We are beggars from my grandfather onwards, and whatever I collected from here, and I feed my father and my grandpa, and I will give to my son when he will be in the age of begging. So this was handed over from his grandfather, and that's why they gathered for the needs of their daily lives. And this businessman asked this young man, but do you realize what kind of container that you are holding? He said, I don't know. This is what I do it. And the businessman opened his mind and said that, my young man, this is a gold container. It's a gold bowl. It may cost more than $35,000 to $40,000. You can sell it and you can have a wonderful life on this earth. You can open a small business even. Do you realize that? Then only the young man looked into that bowl, because it was completely covered with so many things. He could not realize the value of that little container. I would like to bring you back the moment that you received the sacrament of baptism. Many of us may not be able to remember and realize that we have received that sacrament of baptism in our full conscience, because we don't know. But the moment that we received that sacrament of baptism, we have received that Holy Spirit. And that is there within us. Look at the whole church. The way that church celebrate. Of course, every day we celebrate the life and death and resurrection of our loving Jesus. Because Jesus is our center of all our faith, all our life, all our hope, all our love and everything. That is true. And that is celebrated in a very special way. His birth and his death is in a very unique way celebrated. And one of the most important person is Blessed Virgin Mary. Many churches named after her. Many of her days, that means important events that happened in the life of Blessed Virgin Mary, also celebrated. The reason we could associate with her. She's like you and me. She could understand the faith of God and receive that faith of God in her life. And that is the reason we could associate. And we could see Jesus also. The reason why that God's love became human, so that we can see, we can touch and we can experience, and so that people can believe in the life of Christ. And what about the Holy Spirit? Sometimes it looks like flame. Sometimes it looks like dove. It's like a wind, it's like a thunder. Many forms. Why, my friends? Why? It's very clear, because that is the power. That is the power that we receive it. The more we realize that power, the more we understand the importance of the sacraments that we have received. Yesterday we had an amazing celebration. So many of our children received the sacrament of confirmation. Wonderful experience. And they have received. And the evening for the Pentecost vigil, there are so many adults also received the sacrament of confirmation, realizing I'm receiving the power of the Holy Spirit. And these powers are within us. Whenever we need, realize that power within us. And we will be able to take our life into that final destination. Our life is full of struggles and the problems. Whether you come to the church or not, whether you just completely avoid the whole your faith, abandon the faith and live outside, still the struggles of the life, the worries of the life will be following us. You cannot bring a single person before us that never went through any struggles in her or in his life. That is there, my dear friends. But what is make us special? That will tell us today, as we see in the gospel. When Jesus says, when you receive it, you receive my Spirit also. When we have that power of the Holy Spirit, we will be able to understand our life in a much better way. The cross that we carry is no more a cross for us, but it is something help me to realize the life to enter. We approach our burdens, our struggles in a different perspective. Things are happening. When I lose someone from my life, I feel it. I remember, I would like to bring this one of my personal experience with my grandma. You know, grandma loved me so much. I don't know why. Because she had so many grandchildren. But I don't know, something that she has for me. But I took advantage of that. Many people, you know, you are wonderful children, not me. So when I was my younger age, I took advantage of my grandma's love in my life. Because, you know, sometimes she used to hide a lot of things for me. And before seeing anybody, she used to give to me and say, you take it. So I visited her so that I can get any material things from her. But years passed. When I finished my teenage life, I began to realize how much she loved me. She gave away all her jewelry when she was alive to her children, to some other people, and so on and so forth. But still, she kept a small rosary gold ring on her finger. She never gave that one to anyone, but she said something in her will. She has written, say that when I die, give that little ring to my grandson Liju. I was happy. Do you know why? I have a gold ring. But I realized again and again the love of my grandma. I kept that ring somewhere. I never remembered to keep it close to my life. But later when I was missing my grandma in my life, I realized, my grandma, you loved me so much because you always want me happy. I miss you, grandma. And I began to hold that ring close to my life. That is a ring for you and for me, but it brings the complete picture of my grandma close to my life. And that is the power of the Spirit, my dear friends. We don't see, we cannot touch, we cannot smell, we cannot see that Spirit, but we can feel it. It is there within you. Have that faith in Jesus and He will help you. That power of the Spirit will help you to take our life journey into that heavenly kingdom. Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit,